You don't need a complex trading system in order to achieve financial freedom. If you want to make your first $10,000 in net trading profits at the end of the month or maybe even the end of the week, you just need to follow a simple plan and understand the plan and follow it precisely. There are two firms that you can easily do this with. It is TopStep and Tradeify. And in this video, we're going to go over both of these firms, their payout policies, and their path to get funded with these firms so that way you can take your payout. But before we jump into the video, please hit that subscribe button. And if you guys want to see me trade live Monday through Friday, I start at 9:15, just 15 minutes before market open, Eastern Standard Time. Starting with Top Step, we see that they obviously have 3 account options, which is pretty much industry standard. And in order to pass your combine, because with Top Step, you do have to go through the combine phase. So it may take you a bit longer compared to Top Step, to compare it to Tradeify, but you have your 3 options. With the 50K account, you have a max loss limit of 2,000. With the 100K, it's 3,000. And then with the 150K, it's $4,500, which is $4,500, right? So you're basically paying for how much drawdown you're able to get. Because if we then look at the FAQ section for Top Step, you're going to realize that it may be more worth it to actually go with the 150K plan because you're essentially buying yourself more drawdown. Because it doesn't matter what account size you have, your goal is to get 5 winning trading days to where you're able to have the end of day net P&L of $200 in profit or more. So let's say I have the 50K. Let's say I have the 50K account and I want to take a payout. Well, I need 5 trading days to where my net daily profit was $200 or more, meaning my account cannot be in the negative and it has to be in profit. And I have to have 5 $200 trading days in order to take that payout. And vice versa. If I have a 150K account, it's the same exact thing, except I just have more drawdown. I only need to make $200 for 5 days, and then I could take a payout, but I have a bigger buffer. So sometimes I think, honestly, paying that extra $100 to, in fact, get that 150K account, and then on top of that, you're gonna have to pay another $150 to activate the express funded account is definitely worth it. Because if you are able to get those $200 profit days, then you're gonna make your money right back, and then at the end of it, net with just one account, you're gonna be able to make $700. Now, obviously, if you want to reach that 10K goal, what we need to do as traders is just kind of do the math a little bit. We want to buy 550K accounts because this will be the easiest way to kind of get that net 10K in trading profits at the end of the month. We're going to want to get that account. And then through each of those accounts, we obviously want to copy trade them, but we don't want to just go for the mere $200 a day. You definitely want to kind of push the thread a little bit and maybe risk, and depending on how much you trade, $500 to $1,000 per trade. And that way, at the end of those 5 days, if you, let's say you are netting a profit of $1,000 at the end of every day, in 5 days, you'll have 5 grand across 5 accounts. And then you can literally take out half of that and then have your 10K a month while still keeping $2,500 in the account as your drawdown. So that way you have somewhat of a buffer left in the account to kind of regrow your accounts and just continue that cycle until you eventually move up to the live account. Now, let me just pull out my calculator and just quickly do the math because I'm not that great at math on the top of my head. But like I said, if you are basically making $1,000 a day and you do that times 5, I mean, obviously you're going to have 5 grand. Now, we're going to have to multiply that across 5 accounts, and that's $25,000, right? But if we're only taking out half that, we're going to take it divided by 2, and then you're able to take out $12,500. So essentially, you make 5 grand at the end of the week, and then you only take out $2,500 per account. I mean, you have more than a 10K month. You're actually making, $1,200 and $500. Sorry, $12,500 at the end of that week. And then we also have to subtract the kind of like the fees that we've been paying, because again, we want $10,000 net at the end of the month. So all we have to do is memorize that number, $12,500. And then we have to add up all the trading fees. So again, the combine itself is $149. The activation fee is going to be $149 again. So let's just round it up, $300. So $300 times 5, we spent $1,500 on basically trying to get these accounts. And so basically if we're going to do this, we can do 12,500 minus 1,500, and at the end of the month, we are netting $11,000. And again, you're not going to be able to make your 10K a month unless you have an exact trading plan. Now, obviously, if you guys, that's if you wanted to get it in 5 days. But let's say you wanted to get it in less. Let's say, hey, I don't feel like risking $1,000 for a trade if you are a one and done type of trader. Let's say you like to kind of like take maybe, I don't know, one trade or two trades a day, but you kind of only want to risk $500, which is understandable. Well, then at that point, in order to make 10K, we're going to have to maybe, let's say we have $500 a day, and then we times that by 5. We make $500 a day for 5 days in a row, right? We times that by 5. Again, at the end of the week, we are up $12,500. And if we're up $5,000, it's going to be a bit more trickier, but we have one or two options. We're going to have to take out a lot more in the account, or we're going to have to trade for a little bit longer. And if we do trade for a little bit longer, like rather than trading for 5 days, let's say we trade for 8 days. Let's say we have 8 trading days, and then we go ahead and times that by 5. We'll make 20,000, and that's actually a good amount. So 8 days, if you're risking $500 a day with these Top Step 150K accounts, trading for 8 days in profit, it's really good. And then you go ahead and again, let's say we only want to let's say we do this. Let's subtract the fees. We that's our gross. And then let's subtract the fees. 1,500. Okay, we're left with $18,500 in kind of like net profits. But can we take out all of that? It may not be smart because we definitely want to leave a buffer in the account. So how much can we take out in order to still have that in the account? Well, we can just try to see if we can go ahead and divide it by, let's say, 2. And then we're kind of like left with $9,250. So just slightly under that 10K mark, but you're still around that 10K in net trading profits at the end of the month, basically putting that money into your pocket. So this is definitely something that you could consider. Just do the math on it. And then it's something that you just have to plan out. But if we move on to Tradeify, I kind of like their plan. Obviously, Top Step is the easiest to get a payout, but if we're considering that 10K, let's compare with Tradeify, because Tradeify, they have multiple plans. They have the advanced plan to where you basically get a little less drawdown compared to the growth plan, and it is on the cheaper side, but you basically do have to pay for like that activation fee. And if you want to reset the account, you would have to pay for the reset fee. With this one, with the 150K account, you only get $4,500 in drawdown. With the 100K, you only get $3,000 in drawdown. And then with the 50K, you only get $2,000 in drawdown. But here's the catch, and here's kind of where it gets interesting. So basically, with the advanced account, because that's the funded account I have with Tradeify, I have the 100K account, I get $3,000 of drawdown. But guess what? In order to take a payout, I only need to make 3 grand compared to other firms to where I may need to make double of whatever I have in drawdown. That's not the case with Tradeify. With Tradeify, if I have the advanced account, I only need to make about $3,000. Okay, once I'm in 100,000, 103,000 and $100 in profit, I can then request 2 grand out of my first payout. And you can have up to 5 accounts. So again, 2 times 5 is 10. So in order to have a 10K month with Tradeify, you only need to make 3 grand while having 3 grand in drawdown. And then you're able to take out 2 grand per account. So that's a very simple way. If you're going to go with Tradeify, you can definitely do the 150K accounts, because with 150K, that's what the 100K accounts, right? But let's say we're doing with 150K accounts, you don't need that many accounts. Okay. You have 5K in drawdown. Sorry, you have $4,500 in drawdown. And then you need to make basically $4,600. And then let's just say we make $4,600. Well, we can then take out $2,500 for our first payout. And then in order to hit that 10K, I mean, we can just do the math right here. Let's do $10,000 uh, divided by 2,500. Oh, 2,500. And then we basically just need to have 4 accounts. So if we just calculate the expenses of 4 accounts with 150K, let's do the math right now. It's $129 per account. And then the activation fee is $125. That's $254 basically per 150K account. So if we recall back to what it was with Top Step, Tradify is actually cheaper because we only need 4 of these accounts, and our expense is only $1,000 compared to the $1,500 that we technically kind of need with Top Step. Because with Top Step, there is no consistency rule, but at the same time, you need to make more because you can't take out all of your account balance basically with Top Step unless you just want to completely burn your accounts. With Tradify, you at least have a buffer left in your account and they kind of force you to leave a buffer. So I just think it's like kind of like better for the trader. But with 450K advanced accounts, we can get 10K in payouts and net trading profits for that month. And again, if you want to just you only need to make a couple $100 more if you really want to kind of like cover the expenses for the account, because at the end of that month you wouldn't necessarily net 10K with Tradify. You would net basically 9 grand with Tradify, right? And obviously, if you want to basically, cover those and actually get out that 10K net profits, then basically what you're going on to do is just make $250 more across those 4 accounts. And then boom, you cover your expenses. And then at the end of that month, net, or at the end of your payout period, net, you're in the money for 10K. That money's in your bank and it's in your wallet. And then you're taking your wife out to the nearest steakhouse and you're eating pretty good. But these are definitely the top 2 firms that I prefer. Now, obviously, with Tradify, they have much more options, but this is the most affordable option because with this option, it's $339 with a 150K account and then $249 with a 100K account. And the advanced accounts are obviously cheaper. You just get like $500 less of drawdown. To me, $500 of drawdown is not going to make a difference. The $3,000 drawdown to make $3,100 in order to take your payout is amazing to me. The $4,500 in drawdown to make $4,600 in profit to take your payout is amazing. I don't need 5 grand, right? I don't need 3,500, because at the end of the day, if we look at the growth account, let's see, where's the growth account? If we look at the growth account, you kind of just, it's the same exact thing. You're just giving yourself more drawdown, but you need to make kind of like the ratio is like the same, right? You have $3,500 in drawdown for the 100K account. You need to make $3,600. You have 5 grand for the 150K account, and you need to make uh $5,100. So it's basically the same thing. So there's no point of paying that extra for the growth account, in my opinion. Um, and I guess the only benefits is that you have an intraday drawdown mode, and then with the growth account, you have an end of day drawdown mode. So it just really depends on what you prefer. But the growth accounts are a lot more expensive, and then we can get into the straight to funded accounts, which are incredibly more expensive. And it, for me personally, if I know I can pass a combine, you can pass this combine in 1 day. So it's just the advanced plan just seems the most worth it. And it's the best bang for your buck, honestly, rather than just investing a bunch of money into all these other accounts. I'd personally just rather go with the advanced account just because it has the lowest cost. And again, it's basically the same exact thing as the growth account, and it has a 35% consistency rule, unlike the 20% consistency rule that you need to have on the straight to funded accounts. And if you guys want more information on this, like I said here, the consistency rule 35%, which is a lot higher. You need 7 days traded in order to withdraw. So again, if you want to kind of like make that 7 days, well, then we just kind of need to do the math. Let's go. Let's say, because I'm going to speak on my situation. My situation is I have the 100K advanced account funded. And if I want to take a payout with that in 7 days, well, if we do 3,100 divided by 7, I basically need to kind of be making $442. Let's round it up, $443 per day at the end of the day. And in 7 days, I'd have that $3,100 in profit. And then I can take out $2,000 for that account. If I copy trade that across, let's say like 5 accounts, well, then guess what? I have a 10K payout gross in order to cover my commissions, or my expenses. I'm going to be, net like 9 grand. So it's not bad at all. But that's kind of like my plan. And going forward, like that's for this account personally, I'm going to be risking about $400 per trade, and then really kind of like sticking to that. I don't want to be risking too much or over leveraging myself with this. I have 3 grand. In order for me to lose this account, I need to quite literally take, let's say, here, let's do the math just so I can show you. For 3,000 divided by 400, I need to have 7.5 bad trades. I'm not going to take 7.5 bad trades in a row, bro. That's just not me. Like, I don't lose that much. My win rate is a 64%, 65%. Sometimes even better, honestly. Like, if I'm having a great week, dude, I'll have like a freaking 75% win rate that week. And then that's going to obviously kind of just throw me into the throttle and get me to that payout faster. So for me personally, I can risk $400 and be okay with it because I know I have 7 trades basically in order before I burn the account. And I'm not going to take 7 losing trades in a row. Now, is it possible? Absolutely. But at that point, if I identify that I'm kind of like in a slump, I'm going to take a step back, reassess, make sure I understand what the market is doing, have some clarity before I go any further. And that's just me. But as we just saw, Tradeify and TopStep makes the most sense. For me personally, I prefer the Tradeify Advanced plan over the TopStep ones. Now, obviously, with Tradeify, you do have a 35% consistency rule. But in all honesty, I'm going for one-to-one R multiples. So it doesn't make sense for me to really care about that because, again, if I'm just going for a one-to-one, I really don't need to be putting on a whole lot of risk like that or trying to shoot for the moon. If I'm only risking a $400 account for the 100K account, and let's say for the 150K account, I'd probably risk like $500, maybe even less than that, or 450. To me, it does make a difference, right? So the advantage with Top Step is that it is a bit more expensive, but again, you have no consistency rule, so you can quite literally make as much as you want at the end of the day. Either way, you still need 5 days of making $200 or more a day. So either way, minimum, you cannot take a payout until your 5 days. With Top Step, you can kind of game the system a little bit and just build yourself more of a buffer. But with Tradeify, I feel like it takes a bit more finesse and a bit more skill. And as a trader, I want to be able to kind of like show off my finesse and my skill and show that I'm actually good at trading and not just kind of like getting lucky with one huge trade and then just making like little teeny base hits along the way with Top Step because that's what a lot of people do, honestly. But the plan that makes the most sense for me is the Tradeify Advance. I'm curious to know what you guys think, so let me know down below in the comments. But this is the best way to make your first $10,000 in net trading profits by using these two firms. And let me know if you guys are able to do that. But if you guys enjoyed this video and you guys would like to see more videos like this, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and check out my other videos on my channel because I think they're kind of helpful. What do you think? But honestly, if you want to see me trade live every single day, I'm live every single day, Monday through Friday, starting at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time in the morning, just 15 minutes before market open. But it's been a pleasure, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.